Hey, it's Professor Daniels, and I've got a quiz for you. Which of the following foods should you purchase off TikTok? The magenta sauce labeled only as pink that has no transparency about how or where it was made. These pickles from an Etsy store labeled only as pickles that have no transparency about how or where they were made. Or whatever this affront to God is labeled only as what the hell with a bit too much transparency about how and where it was made. Actually, the whole thing is documented on these insane TikToks, and frankly, I wish I had never seen any of that, or none of the above, because purchasing food off of TikTok is a horrible idea for so many reasons. Now, if you said anything other than D, then I wish you all the best and hope you find medical help as soon as humanly possible, but you're also concerningly not alone. These TikTok food-related trends have been popping up everywhere. Everything from the pink sauce lady, to Pickle Me Everything, the Pickle Girl, to a bunch of other smaller accounts trying to make their weird made-at-home recipes go viral so they can make millions. And frankly, I can think a few things less safe than ordering a random consumable that you saw off of TikTok that you're gonna bring home and then eat. Does that not just strike you as a horrible idea? Now, I know the first response a lot of you are gonna give is, it's just a meme, bro. Now, I do agree that it is a meme, and I think the people that buy it are also memes, because memes are funny, silly, or dumb things that we all point and laugh at. And I think anyone who purchases these products and then actually eats them deserves to be pointed and laughed at. Because you don't know whether these are FDA compliant or made in commercial kitchens by people who have licenses or even really know what they're doing in the first place. So we should absolutely point at the people that buy these and laugh at them. Now, when I'm talking about crazy food concoctions, I'm not exactly talking about these like insane borderline clickbaity food TikTok compilation concoction things that get made in like toilets or on countertops or whatever, because Jarvis Johnson has that realm pretty well covered. What I'm specifically talking about is people who make food-related products that are designed to be specifically purchased and consumed by their viewers. And this is, once again, things like the Pink Sauce Girl and the Pickle Me Everything Girl. And I think there's a lot of reasons that these should, one, not be purchased, and if you do, to be like super cautious about the people that are selling them in the first place. And the first big reason is that it encourages other people to do it. Now, within the food service industry, restaurants are one of the bigger players, and restaurants have insane food safety standards that they have to adhere to. If you ever go to a restaurant, you should see a large yellow, white, or green sheet of paper with a large number. It should be prominently displayed somewhere. And if you want to see how complicated food codes are, just type in food codes and then your state. It should be pretty easy to find, and once you do, just take a look at how incredibly complicated a lot of these rules are, and just how many of them there are. And once you look at the insane volumes of rules and laws there are, it's not surprising that there are lawyers who specifically work with food safety. And these documents are so long and complicated because if a restaurant gets something wrong or creates something that is harmful, you stand to poison hundreds, potentially thousands, possibly up to tens of thousands of people, depending on the popularity of the restaurant. But guess who doesn't have to adhere to these regulations because personal kitchens aren't monitored by the FDA? That's right. Random TikTokers on the internet. For example, the pink sauce lady originally made all of her foods in her kitchen with no supervision. She claims she's FDA compliant now, but how many thousands or tens of thousands of pink sauce bottles did she sell before she became FDA compliant due to public pressure? And the issue is, we're probably never going to know that. So all we know is that there's thousands of potentially unsafe consumables floating around the market that people decided it was a good idea to buy off the internet. And the Pickle Me Everything girl? She didn't even have a license to be selling food products in the first place. And yet tens of thousands of people purchased her pickles off of a viral TikTok. And literally, not one of those people knew what they were actually getting. And this will encourage copycats who will look at these TikToks and realize that they don't need a big expensive kitchen or to adhere to laws to make a lot of money. All they have to do is create some wild condiment and then go viral on TikTok. And so this encourages people to concoct these insane consumables with the hope that they will go viral and make a bunch of money. And I'm not suggesting that every one of these people has bad intentions. In fact, I would assume most of them really honestly just want to share whatever they've made with the world. But it really doesn't matter whatever their intentions are, because it takes so little to cause a big issue. Because if just one ingredient is unsafe or not stored properly or has some other issue, then their intentions cease to matter entirely. And all that matters is the fact that they hurt people because they ignored licenses and regulations. And this is surprisingly similar to like cryptos and NFTs, where celebrities kept launching cryptocurrencies and NFT projects because people kept buying into them. As long as it was working, there was no motivation to stop doing this sketchy, sometimes illegal activity. It doesn't matter how much these projects were criticized by other celebrities or YouTubers. As long as people keep buying into this kind of thing, other people are going to continue to do it. And eventually, very similar to what we saw with FTX, probably one of these viral products is going to cause issues and hurt a bunch of people. And then we're going to have government step in and start trying to regulate the whole space. And not only is this whole situation bad for the people who are buying unknown mixtures of chemicals and ingredients, but it's also potentially pretty bad for the creators as well who go viral doing this. Now, when I say bad for the creators, I don't mean physically bad. At least unless they poison themselves or get arrested for doing what they're doing. But I'm talking about how it's mentally bad for these people. Now, if you look at large food startups like Redefined Meat, Banza, or Babylon Microfarms, they run very differently from these individual startups that we see on TikTok. These companies are a corporate startup that have a healthy separation of brand from the people behind the brand. And these TikTokers simply don't have that. If someone gets mad at HelloFresh and starts a hate campaign against them, no one at HelloFresh gets hurt by that personally, because people are mad at the brand and not necessarily the specific people behind the brand. But if someone starts a hate campaign against the pink sauce lady, it's just a hate campaign against the pink sauce lady. There's no separation of brand and person there. And this is what happened with Pickle Me Everything, the pickle girl. People realized that she wasn't selling in any kind of a regulated environment, nor did she have any kind of kitchens or was she following any food safety protocol. And so they attacked her personally for it. And whether or not these attacks were meant to hurt her personally, as bad as they did, when there's no separation of the girl who's making the pickles and the pickles as a brand, every attack is a personal attack and will hurt her personally. And just so everything makes sense, let's do a quick backstory on the Pickle Me Everything girl. Pickle Me Everything was a very small TikTok account, and she would use her TikToks to try and drive business over to her Etsy store where she sold pickles. She began every TikTok with,
"Hello, pickled friends and family."
And that was pretty much it until she went viral. And going viral put more eyes on her, and people realized that she wasn't following any kind of food safety guidelines. She was just pickling everything in her kitchen and then shipping it out to people who purchased from her Etsy store. And once this came out, a bunch of people began calling out the fact that what she was doing was at best immoral and at worst illegal. And as the pressure got to her, she started just blocking people and deleting comments of people who pointed out what she was doing. Eventually, the voices against her got so loud that she shut everything down, rented a commercial kitchen, got a bunch of licenses, and then issued an apology about the whole situation.
"I'm so sorry for all of this. It just happened so fast. I was a small business. It blew up overnight. I am refunding everyone's orders. I truly apologize. I'm working on getting my commercial kitchen. I've had it since Monday. I'm working on getting all the license, the permits, whatever it is that I need to get done. Just bear with me. I'm doing my best. I do apologize. I do appreciate the support still. If you're not happy, no problem, we'll issue a refund. But just please consider being a little bit nicer. It does hurt people. Happy holidays. Thank you from the bottom of my heart."
And just looking at this last section of the apology, she's on the verge of tears, and it's very clear this whole situation has done a pretty big number on her mental health. While it can be reasonably argued that it was at least partially her fault because she wasn't following any regulations or any form of safety and then blocking people that were calling her out for it, it's hard to say that she deserved the level of hate that she started to get. Now, if this channel blew up overnight and a bunch of people started making hate videos about me, I don't know if I'd be okay with that. And that's because there's not much separation between Andrew Daniels, the YouTube brand, and then me, Andrew, the person. But with larger companies, you have the separation naturally. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg cries at the amount of hate he gets? Or do you think he sleeps soundly every night on a bed made of gold and then takes dumps on a toilet of diamond or whatever the heck it is rich people do? So when it comes to these big viral things, just be careful. Now, if you want to purchase them as a relic of a funny meme that happened, I think that's a little bit weird, but it's probably fine because it doesn't hurt anybody, so long as you don't need it. But if you're expecting perfection from someone who's making a product for tens of thousands of people from their own home who blew up overnight and they have no way of being prepared for this in any capacity, that's kind of dumb and pretty unreasonable. And if you're the person that's attacking them personally, that's just unacceptable. You can be critical of what they're doing, and in many instances, it's probably a good idea to do that in order to warn other people of what's going on. But jumping on the hate train to just try and hurt them because other people are also doing it and hurting them is kinda sick. But on the flip side, doing things like ignoring licenses and then breaking food safety laws, then being deceptive and trying to hide it, is also a pretty scummy thing to do. And it needs to be called out, but in a constructive way that doesn't exist for the sole purpose of starting a hate campaign against someone. Because hate campaigns don't solve anything. So if these TikTok food trends are unsafe, not even really that funny, bad for the creators and potentially bad for their audience, maybe it's just best if we don't participate in them. Also, if you're here at this point, you'll probably enjoy this video, and don't forget to love yourselves and all of the people around you, and I'll catch you next time.